Nature is a harsh but righteous teacher. Wim Hof said that, and it really sticks with you, doesn't it?
It does.
It makes you wonder, what if tuning into those, hidden rules around us wasn't just about surviving? What if it's actually the key to really thriving?
That's exactly the fascinating territory we're getting into today. We pulled together a really rich set of insights from the sources you shared.
Yeah.
It's like a journey through the minds of philosophers, strategists, thinkers across time, really.
Exactly. And look, this isn't just skimming the surface. Our mission here in this deep dive is to really try and extract the core of what freedom means,
Mhm.
how we can actually, live it out, and also the responsibilities that just come with it. We're
Right.
going from that really personal inner self-understanding all the way out to navigating the world systems and making, hopefully, good choices.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay, so let's start maybe by looking inward. It's easy to think freedom is just about having lots of external choices, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
The more options, the better, you'd think. But these thinkers, they point to something much deeper, an internal dimension.
Absolutely. Tolstoy really just cuts through the noise here, I think.
He does.
He argues that, look, if you understand yourself as fundamentally a spiritual being, well, then the whole idea of not being free in your intellect, your conscience, your love, it just doesn't really compute.
Regardless of what's happening outside.
Exactly. Regardless of external limits, it's like this inner sanctuary of freedom that stays untouched.
And what's interesting is how he links this inner freedom directly to self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
He's suggesting that understanding your core self, that gives your life meaning. And crucially, it frees you from just serving, physical desires.
Right. It's about recognizing something deeper inside.
Yeah, deeper essence.
It almost echoes that powerful biblical idea, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Mm.
And here, truth feels less like doctrine and more like that deep self-knowledge Tolstoy's talking about.
Precisely. And this inner landscape, it has a moral shape too. Marcus Aurelius brings this up.
Okay.
He points out that the very existence of evil, well, it stems from our freedom to choose between good and bad.
Ah, so that capacity for moral choice is actually part of our freedom.
Integral to it. But it also means, we can make mistakes.
Yeah.
Ethical missteps.
So freedom isn't just this wide open field. It's tied intrinsically to our ability to discern and choose ethically.
Yeah. And Confucius adds another layer to this inner picture.
Okay, how so?
He observes that when we're consumed by things like disappointment or fear or really intense passions, we actually block our soul's freedom.
Huh. Like internal chains.
Sort of, yeah. Like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
negative emotions act as internal restraints. Think of disappointment, fear,
Oh,
like mental shackles, right? Binding our spirit.
preventing us from acting with real autonomy.
Exactly. So cultivating high morals, in his view, is like breaking free from these self-imposed limits.
Wow. So if we put all this together,
Yeah.
these thinkers are saying true freedom isn't just about external stuff.
Right. It's about cultivating this inner state. Clarity, self-awareness, moral integrity.
Yeah, which might explain that analogy in one of the sources.
Oh, the one about denying freedom?
Yeah, comparing people who deny it to blind people denying colors.
Right, because they simply haven't experienced that deeper nature of it.
Okay, so we've got this really foundational idea of inner freedom mapped out. Now,
Right.
how does this connect outwards? How do we navigate the external world, the systems that shape things?
This is where a more strategic view, like Seth Godin's, becomes really helpful.
Right. Practical stuff.
Very practical. He points out that a system is an invisible force that keeps things the way they are.
Okay, like the hidden structures.
Exactly. Industries, social norms, even just how a company works, they exert a powerful pull.
So how do you gain agency?
Well, his first step is crucial. Identify the specific system you're dealing with.
Okay, know what you're up against.
Then study how it works.
Yeah.
Understand who benefits most from how things are now. And identify the forces within it. Who holds the power? What are the incentives? What are the unwritten rules?
It's like mapping the terrain before you even think about moving.
Precisely. If you don't get the basic rules of the game, you're just reacting blindly, right?
Yeah, just getting pushed around.
So from that deeper understanding, Godin suggests we develop what he calls elegant strategies.
Elegant strategies, meaning...
Approaches that don't necessarily try to fight the system head on,
Okay.
but rather work with its existing dynamics to get where you want to go.
Ah, so instead of trying to knock down a wall, you look for the doors.
Or maybe figure out how to gently nudge the wall in the direction you want it to go, yeah.
I like that.
And he really emphasizes the proactive part of this. Exercising freedom within these structures,
Like how?
with directives like pick your customers, pick your future, and that really empowering idea, you can start by picking yourself.
Hmm. Taking ownership.
It's about making deliberate choices. Where do you put your attention? Who do you engage with?
Mm.
Ultimately, owning your path, even with the constraints of existing systems.
That really shifts the feeling from being like a cog in a machine
Yeah.
to actively choosing which machine, maybe, and how you work within it. Okay, now we can't really talk freedom without also touching on, well, responsibility, can we?
No, absolutely not. Our sources are clear on this. Freedom isn't just a license to do whatever we want without consequences.
Right, there are ripple effects.
Exactly. Og Mandino's wisdom here.
Oh.
Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. It just perfectly illustrates that link, doesn't it?
It really does. What we choose now shapes what's possible later.
Our choices today directly shape tomorrow's possibilities.
And there was another fascinating insight. The idea that information combined with emotion encodes the information.
Ah, yes. That's powerful.
It's not just enough to know something intellectually.
Right. When you connect emotionally, it sticks. It deepens understanding, and it really strengthens the motivation to actually do something about it.
Which leads right into that prompt about asking the uncomfortable questions.
Willingly ask and ponder the uncomfortable questions. True freedom seems to demand that willingness, doesn't it? Confronting our biases, our blind spots.
The difficult truths about ourselves and the world.
Yeah, because avoiding those questions actually limits our understanding of our own constraints, and therefore limits the genuine choices we really have.
And Robert Greene's section, the unambitious front, that adds a really interesting social layer to this, impacting our perceived freedom.
Super interesting. He gets into how being overtly ambitious can often stir up envy and suspicion in other people.
Which can create resistance.
Exactly. So the counterintuitive strategy he talks about is sometimes appearing less ambitious or less overtly ambitious can actually give you more freedom to operate, more room to gain influence.
Because people feel less threatened.
That's the idea. They're less likely to resist someone who doesn't seem to be aggressively chasing power. Like Plutarch observed, envy is this soul disorder people rarely admit to.
It's a subtle way of navigating social systems, using strategic humility almost.
Yeah, you can put it that way. But then Green hits you with that sharp daily law. Be most suspicious of those who seem unambitious.
Ah, the twist.
Right, it's a crucial reminder. Always look deeper than the surface.
So it's not about being genuinely passive.
No, not at all. It's about strategically managing perception. And this connects to that other really probing question.
Which one?
Are you inventing things to do to avoid the important work?
Oof. Yeah, that one hits home.
It makes you think, how often do we create this illusion of being busy
Yeah, busy work.
to avoid tackling the stuff that truly matters, which ultimately just limits our freedom to pursue meaningful goals? We build our own little prisons of distraction.
That's so true. And then there's that incredibly simple but potent line. Focus. The small things become the big things.
Yes. It just hammers home how intentionally directing our attention, our energy.
Yeah.
That's key.
Key to making real impact. And in a very real way, creating more freedom by making progress on what actually matters to us.
Absolutely. And then to really broaden our view on the ethics of freedom, Dr. David Jordan offers something profound.
What's that?
He says there cannot be a perfect civilization until we realize that the rights of every living creature are as sacred as his own.
Wow. That really expands the scope.
It suggests that true freedom, maybe in its most evolved state, goes way beyond just human concerns. It's about recognizing the inherent worth, the needs of all beings.
That's a huge, thought-provoking take on the ethics here.
Definitely. And finally, just that succinct observation, confidence is silent, insecurity is loud.
What do you take from that?
It suggests that true inner freedom breeds this quiet assurance. You don't need the constant external validation, the noise.
Yeah, it brings us kind of full circle, doesn't it? Back to that inner landscape we started with.
It really does.
Yeah.
When you feel secure, grounded inside yourself, you're just less swayed by external pressures. You're more able to exercise your agency authentically, deliberately.
So we've covered so much ground here, looking at freedom from all these angles that are actually really connected, aren't they?
Deeply interconnected.
The foundation of inner awareness, navigating systems strategically, the weight of ethical responsibility, the power of focused action.
It's all woven together.
Hmm.
And it really highlights that pursuing freedom isn't just one big act.
No.
It's an ongoing process, right? Self-discovery, engaging with the world, constantly reflecting on the ethics of it all.
Yeah, definitely an ongoing journey. So, as you, the listener, go about your day, really thinking about all these facets of freedom, from that quiet inner space to your place in the larger systems you're part of, and your responsibilities to everything around you. What's maybe one small but deliberate choice you can make today? Something to cultivate a bit more agency, a bit more alignment in your own life.
Yeah, definitely something worth taking a moment to consider.